Namaskar and good afternoon to everyone.
We want to extend a warm welcome to you all as we begin Krisha's Odissi Rangapravesh. Her debut dance recital, we appreciate your presence and blessings on these important milestones of Krisha's classical dance training career. Due to the COVID, along with many uncertainties regarding the venue, the city regulations, and safety issues, we had to make several changes to the event in the last few weeks. Thus, we want to thank each and every one of you who could come and join this program on such a short notice. Amongst us today, we have our friends, relatives, community members, dance and music enthusiasts from the Houston and surrounding areas in Texas. We have Krisha's Odissi Guru Ms. Supradipta Datta and other Indian classical dance and music gurus here too. We have several family members from Atlanta, New York, Boston that could join us today. And for those who cannot join us due to COVID and the short notice, this event will be YouTube live streamed for our friends, families, and Gurus in India and other parts of the world.
Krisha has been interested in Odissi dance since she was 3 years old, and she has been constantly encouraged and loved by the community in Houston. She is honored to have your presence here to support her on this very important day. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Sarita Das, who will be the MC for this evening. Sarita Das lives in Houston and is an active community member. She was a dubbing artist and All India radio dramatist in India when she lived there. She enjoys staging dramas for adults and kids through her script writing and direction. Sarita works in the oil and gas industry as the head of architecture of global gas and power at BP. She is an ardent lover of Indian classical music. For leisure, she loves to read thrillers, travel around the globe, and try foods from different cuisines. Please welcome Mrs. Sarita Das to come to stage.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rangapravesh ceremony of Krisha. I am Sarita Das and I will be your MC for the evening. I'm honored to be here and be a part of this event because I know Krisha since her birth and I have witnessed her dedication and passion and love for dance. Before we begin the ceremony, let me go through some housekeeping rules. First, please wear your masks indoors. Please switch off your phones or put them in vibrate mode right now. No flash photography as the event is being professionally recorded. We ask that you refrain from posting any pictures in social media. And if you need to step outside, please do so between performances. I understand it is very difficult for young kids to sit through a performance of this duration. If you think your kids are feeling restless, please take them outdoors before it becomes, uncontrollable. First, I would like to acknowledge the presence of some gurus in our program today and their contribution to the Houston community. We have with us Guru Smt Kalpana Subbarao, who is a faculty of Kathak at Shilambam, Houston. We also have Guru Srimati Nilamani Venisetti, representing Kuchipudi. She is a faculty at Shilambam, Houston. Finally, Mrs. Srimati Vinita Arora. She is a vocalist. She is from the Alankar Music Academy, and she is Krisha's guru. Welcome, and thank you for your contribution, and thank you for being here to encourage and bless Krisha today. We have gathered today to witness Krisha's journey through Odissi classical dance as she earns the distinction of a self-composing artist. Rangapravesh literally means entry onto the stage. It is that event where the guru launches the student as fit for stage performances. The student demonstrates that she is capable of keeping an audience engaged for the entire duration of the performance. This is a rite of passage where today Krisha will showcase her mastery as soloist dancer. Odissi is one of the 8 classical dance forms in India and celebrated around the world for its lyricism, sensuality, and emphasis on bhakti bhava, which is attitude of devotion and surrender. Odissi is a perfect example of great body movements, expressions, and gestures. Its performances collections includes an invocation, nritya, and natya. Today, we will watch Krisha's proficiency to individually display her knowledge and skill of the art form to God, to her guru, and you all audience. Though this pays tribute to the 11 years Krisha has dedicated to the art, it only marks the beginning of her journey as she spreads her wings to the world of Odissi. For Krisha, dance is her muse, and it will continue to inspire her throughout her life. Krisha is grateful to all her gurus for whom she has learned in all the workshops she has attended over the years. As a pranam, she has chosen at least one dance taught by these gurus to present this evening. And it is a great way to give her gratitude to the gurus on the occasion of Guru Purnima, which happens to be tomorrow. We now move to the first item of the evening. This evening, Krisha commences her recital with an invocatory piece called the Mangalacharan. It is the first presentation of the Odissi repertoire and marks the entrance of the dancer onto the stage. It is a spiritual number through which the dancer offers her devotion to the Lord for an auspicious beginning. The composition begins with a Mancha Pravesh or Patra Pravesh, the physical entrance of the dancer to the stage. Next, the dancer offers obeisance to Lord Jagannath, the presiding god of Odissi. This is followed by Bhumi Pranam, a salutation of Mother Earth. The centerpiece of Mangalacharan is the Ishtadeva Stuti or Bandana. In today's Mangalacharan, it is a verse describing Devi Saraswati, the goddesses of wisdom and knowledge, whose divine blue glow dazzles all. She encompasses the mind, intellect, and alertness and ego of all mortals. The goddesses, with 4 arms, a crescent in her hair, benevolent eyes, a bird on her shoulder, a graceful gait of an elephant, and the fierce weapons in her hands is a picture of valor, grace, as well as motherly love. Bandana is followed by Sabha Pranam, where the dancer salutes the audience. Mangalacharan concludes with the Trikhandi Pranam, a 3-part salutation to the god and goddesses, the guru, and the audience. Today's Mangalacharan, Manikya Veena, is based on Rag Malika, Ragas Malava Kaushika, Bhageshri, and Durga, and set to Chatusra, Iktali, and Jati. Music composition is by Pandit Bhubaneshwar Mishra, and dance is choreographed by Padma Vibhushan Guru Shri Kelucharan Mahapatra. Please welcome Krisha for her first performance of this evening.
Mother जय मातंग तनये जय नीलोत्पलदिते जय संगीत रसिके जय लीला शुक प्रिये
What a wonderful start to the evening. Whenever I see Krisha, I feel like she's the little firecracker. She's petted but so full of energy. always ready to surprise you with her talents. She can sing, she can play instruments, so talented. I want to talk a little bit about an event or an incident when she was young. She was graduating from kindergarten, and we know she's small, and her kindergarten graduation gown had to be pinned up, showing her feet. So when she sat on the chair, her legs were not touching the ground. While all the other students were talking about going to first grade, Krisha's biggest concern was when will she be tall enough that her feet will touch the ground? But she had the other problem with the graduation cap. The cap was too small for her head. So if there is any correlation between intelligence and gown caps sizes, I think she probably is the best example. We now move to the second item of the evening. Today's first Pallavi is based on Raga Kirwani. A raga is a particular permutation of the basic notes of music. Pallavi, on the other hand, literally means to elaborate. So, this composition is an elaboration of both music and dance in a visual synthesis of the same. It is a non-interpretive abstract dance, composition portraying mostly the lasya bhava or the feminine movements. The presentation starts with the slow, graceful, and lyrical movements of the eyes, neck, torso, and feet, followed by a gradual unfolding of Odyssey's sensuous beauty through intricate compositions punctuated with stunning poses. A peculiarity found in this Pallavi is the use of the Pahandi movement adapted into the Odissi style throughout this composition. Pahandi is the gate in which Lord Jagannath arrives at the Rath in his journey from the inner sanctuary of the temple during Rath Yatra. Guruji has also translated the Ghanta Vadya, the gong's rhythm, to the Mardala, the drum's notes. The breathtaking sculptures of the temples of Orissa are also an inspiration to this composition. The piece is divided into several distinct parts, highlighting the fluidity of the art form, which infuses a soft visual effect. Fast footwork within the musical pieces brings the sculptures of the temples to life with soothing stances and poses. As with all Pallavis, the composition advances to a crescendo in a fast tempo of complex patterns, highlighting various rhythmic variations. Kirwani Pallavi is set to Chatusra Jati Ektal, a cycle of 4 beats. Music composition is by Pandit Bhuvaneshwar Mishra, and dance choreography is by Guru Kerucharan Mahapatra. Krisha learned this dance from Guru Smt Rajashri Praharaj. Please welcome Krisha for her next item today.
Jai Tajam tari dera, takumbari dera, tukundari, tajam tari dera, takumbari dera, tukundari,
As I said earlier, Odissi is a very feminine dance, a very graceful dance, and I think Krisha did justice to the dance with her rendition here, and a big applause to her. She is getting to the point of showing her tenacity and that she is ready for Rangapravesh. I'm not surprised actually with the presentation. I have personally enjoyed watching Krisha. When she was 3 years old, she did her first performance in our community program, and she was so cute and dancing Odissi. I was just awed, and I knew she would make it to this time. Very proud of her. And this proud moment is not just limited to me. There are people in this room who will share the same sentiments. I would like to invite some of her friends and mentor to come on to the stage and say a few words. I will start with Mrs. Carol McLeod. Miss Carol McLeod is from Jasper, Texas, and she has been a special education teacher for the past 15 years. She went to work part-time with the Rath family while completing college. She has known and mentored Krisha since her birth. She is a mother of 4 children, 12 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Mrs. McLeod, you're welcome to the stage to speak about Krisha. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. I have watched Krisha grow up since the first day she came home from the hospital. She was so funny. I left their employment for a little while to start my career. When I wanted to come back, Krisha didn't remember me since she was so young when I left. The sisters told me she was hiding behind them to wait to decide if she liked me. She realized quite quickly that we would always be best buds. Very early on, Krisha absorbed knowledge and began reading. She was such a voracious reader that the library created an exception for the number of books that could be checked out at one time. Krisha would stash books all over the house so she could sneak away into her world of books. Helping Krisha learn to ride a bike was an interesting and exhausting experience. She had the wobbliest arms and poor steering could not keep up with her. But like everything else she does, she practiced hard and became a seasoned rider. Maybe the wobbly arms were just practice for her dance success. We made many crafts together over the years, but my favorite memory was making her own piñata in the pool house so no one could see what we were making or the mess that we made. One of my grandchildren was struggling with math during their high school career. Since Krisha's math skills surpassed mine long ago, I called upon her tutoring skills to help get them through the course. This went so well that I requested that her and her sisters host a tutoring program during the summer at my school. The girls were so successful, they were asked back several times. Now she has joined her sisters in creating a learning foundation that helps students across the world. All that is needed is a desire to learn. Every day that I spent with Krisha, Divya, and Diksha was busy and interesting. One of my favorite events in their busy study schedules was watching their dance practice. Tonight, we will get to enjoy the outcome of the years of practice. Krisha, I love you and hope to be part of your life forever. Thank you.
We will now have Divya and Diksha speak about their sister.
Hi, everybody. So full disclaimer, my mom definitely wanted Divya and I to give a joint speech, but we are giving separate speeches today. So Krisha, you get to listen to more of our voices. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Diksha, and most of you might know me as the middle sister, but my unofficial title in this family is actually Krisha's second mom. So, we've come a long way from the day when she was born. There's not a single picture of me smiling that day, by the way. You can ask Miss Carol, it's very true. I was very unhappy, but don't worry, I grew to love her so much. I'm very thankful to Divya, honestly, because the first couple of years of Krisha and I's sibling relationship was a little bit rocky. There were a lot of fights and lots of tears and lots of pushing and shoving, but we've come a long way since then. And honestly, I think when Divya went off to college, we got even closer. I had the privilege of living alone with Krisha for 2 years during high school. And I thought it was cool that I kind of got the opportunity to be the oldest sister for once instead of the middle sister. But I found out very quickly that it was not all fun and games. Krisha, in case you didn't know, is not one to be bossed around. Most of our nights involved me telling her to do her homework, study for her tests, make sure she's doing well in school, and her telling me to go focus on my own homework and mind your own business. So it did not go as smoothly as I thought it would. But despite the ginormous amounts of sass and banter that often turned into arguments, those 2 years were still incredibly fun. I think I had her class schedule and her assignments memorized more than my own, honestly, and I probably spent more time thinking about her schoolwork than my own. But she was still my best friend. She was my little ranting buddy, my gossip buddy, and she was the first person to tell me that I was a good driver. So I love her a little bit extra for that. But after those 2 years of us being in high school together, I went off to college for a bit, and every time I came home, she was growing and getting closer and closer to being my height. I was so scared that by the time this day came that she would be taller than me, but she's not quite there yet. But her height was not the only thing that grew. Her wit, her sass definitely grew. She became so much more intelligent and well-spoken. And as Miss Carol mentioned, she's done a lot of different teaching initiatives. And I've watched her grow to be a very concise and just a great teacher all around, whereas her childhood was often filled with her giving me very long, drawn-out explanations of what some might think were very simple topics. So she's grown in those ways, but one of the other ways that she'd grown was both in her dance and music. I watched her become such a dedicated musician and dancer over the years, and we bonded over things like clothes and cute animals and other random things that sisters talk about, but really it was every time I came home, we would talk about her music and her dance, and there wasn't a single visit that I had where I didn't either hear Gunguru's dancing or Atanpura and her voice singing. And I don't think I could have imagined that she would get to the place where she is today. I was in awe watching her on stage today. I teared up because she looked so beautiful, and I'm so, so proud of her. And I just want to say, Krisha, I am so proud to call you my sister, and I can't wait to see all the incredible things that you keep doing and how you continue to surprise us all. Love you.
Divya, you're next.
Hi, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I have 2 minutes to fully embarrass Krisha, so I'm trying not to waste any time here. As you know, my sister has been very passionate about Odissi for as long as I can remember, but not many of you know about her passion for hula dancing. So when she was 1 year old, my dear sister was obsessed with Barney and his hula routine, and she'd constantly dance to it in front of the TV. One day, I walked home from school and I saw Barney on the TV as normal, didn't think anything of it. And then suddenly, I saw a bright red pair of underwear fly in front of Barney's face. I was shocked. I went to the living room, and what I found was that Krisha had refused to go to the bathroom, but since she was in the middle of her dancing routine and she had wet her pants, she had thrown her underwear up at Barney's face and she had continued to dance the hula sans clothes. As you can see, her commitment to dance is unwavering. My sister has always been extra, and she tends to go the extra mile with everything. Depending on the situation, this can either be really great or mildly annoying. I'll give you a couple of scenarios to demonstrate. If I threw up once in India because of eating a bad rasgulla, she threw up 4 times. When I needed help writing one Python script for my college research assignment because I am incompetent at coding, she wrote me 7. If I take 30 minutes in the shower, she'll take 2 hours and then another 20 minutes to come downstairs. All this being said, Krisha's focus and attention to detail is incredibly admirable, and I know it'll take her far as the years go by. Krisha, it has been an honor to be your personal hairdresser and your other second mom. I'm so proud of everything that you've accomplished, and it's been really great to see how you nurture interests in dance, music, and volunteering, all while being a high school student. Tonight, you've put on such a great show so far, and I'm sure the rest of the dances will be just as captivating. This Rangapravesh and your graduation are the first of many milestones that you'll reach in the future, and I can't wait to witness everything else that you're going to accomplish in the future. I love you lots, Krish, and thank you all for listening.
I will now welcome Krisha's cousin, Asha Rath from New York.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Asha Rath. Similarly to Divya, I'm gonna embarrass Krisha a little bit. So, one of my most memorable experiences with Krisha just so happens to be one that she barely remembers. So it was the holiday season of 2011, and Divya, Diksha, Krisha, and Ramasi all came over to our place in New York to spend the holidays with us. So everyone at home, we were all so excited because it was the first time they were coming to our place in a while. So we had some very ambitious plans to spend time in the city. One such ambitious plan involved an outing to Rockefeller Center to skate on the rink on Christmas Day. We were all bundled up, but Krisha especially. She looked like a little purple marshmallow, a little Michelin man in her puffy coat, and predictably the line for the rink was very long, so she was well prepared. It was still enjoyable with fun company, though, because we were all together. So to add to the excitement, since it was Christmas Day, we probably saw around 6 proposals, one every half hour, and the skating was fun regardless of the fact that we were all tumbling around like newborn deer. The most memorable part of the outing didn't happen while we were skating, though. It happened on the way back home. See, in order to get the true New York City commuter experience, we decided to take the Metro North train back from the city. So the train ride back was relatively uneventful, despite Krisha playing Sky Burger and her quote-unquote disease games. And these disease games were nothing more than souped-up flashcards of different medical conditions that the Ramasi was using to study for her boards. But they were still a little graphic for a kid who wasn't even 5 years old. So we all know Krisha's been insanely smart for her age, and she never stops learning. So really nothing has changed since that day nearly a decade ago. So once we got back to our train station, it looked absolutely deserted. All of us kids were huddled around a pillar that we found on the platform because we were absolutely exhausted after an entire day exploring the busiest parts of the city. So it was all quiet until Krisha pipes up and asks. She looks down at her arm. She goes, "What's this oatmeal on my arm?" So, and her purple coat did look like it had some very strange, very pungent looking oatmeal substance on it. So we look around the corner of the pillar and we see a very inebriated man hidden behind it. So Krisha's love of learning has led her to gain knowledge beyond her years. And even as a 4-year-old, Krisha knew in graphic detail the symptoms and causes of conditions that trained medical professionals have trouble remembering. Unfortunately, she had to learn something else that fateful night. That pungent substance was definitely not oatmeal. Horror stories aside, I'm ridiculously proud of Krisha. It's a privilege to be able to say I'm related to someone as smart and talented as she is. We're both entering college at the same time, but she's 4 years younger than I am. And it's a privilege to be here tonight to see all the fruits of her hard work. So congratulations, Krisha. I wish you all the best.
Next on my list is Anuj, who is a childhood friend and a pseudo brother. That's what they call you, Anuj. Please come on the stage.
You told me I wasn't supposed to go right now, but it's okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Anuj. I have a few stories to share about my past adventures with Krisha. Not really sure when the nickname Tiny became a regular thing, but I'm sure you know why. But despite her size, Krisha's mountain of a personality makes up for any of those shortcomings. She can really bring out great things in many people, like somehow adding to the giant list of people my dad compares me to. I'm not going to imitate him again, but there's a recording from the last time. She's also one of the few people that can listen to the dumb stuff her siblings say for more than 15 minutes without running away from home. I couldn't do it. Mad respect. She's also turned Clay and Uncle into an Olympic athlete. I'll give you a quick scene. We're in Bombay some years back. Tiny is only a few years old. We're leaving a hotel to go on a road trip to some function. No idea what it is now. I just remember the crime scene. Krisha's always looking for something exciting, and she decides that throwing up in a 5-seat car that has 7 people in it is what is going to bring her a Nobel Prize. Durbanti sees that her youngest daughter has quite a passion for science and also joins in on the fun and leaves Scully and Uncle to get rid of the 2-person crime scene so we can continue our journey. Channeling his inner athlete, he gathers all the puke into a diaper and chucks it into orbit. They say this is how the moon was made. The whole of India saw this achievement, and it was met with a "nice throw, Dad," from Divya, and some applause from the back seat. So now you know how we have the moon. But despite that, Krisha's come a very long way from throwing up on my arm and has grown into quite the special teenager. It's one of the few people I know that can get up and keep dancing as if nothing happened after tripping and falling on stage at one of Divya and Diksha's many fundraising events. If that happened to me or most other people, I'm pretty sure I would just cry. You're also completing your Rangapravesh and graduating high school before the government says you're old enough to drive a car. I don't know really many other people that can do that. But by the time I finish talking about all the things you've done, I'd probably look like my dad and have a shiny head. But I know it's kind of corny, but the important part isn't that what you've done already, but what's coming in the future. And the whole world and I are watching you. But I know it's a lot of pressure, but I know you can handle it and be great. You have the support of this kid here who is too lazy to shave, and the great people in your family and the other 10 billion people out there that know how special Krisha Rath is. So thank you.
Next, I would welcome Misty. She is a childhood friend of Krisha.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Misty, one of Krisha's close friends. Actually, I'm basically her third sister. Me and Krisha never, and I mean never, compliment each other. If you hear the way we talk to each other, you'd never know we were such good friends. We fought so much as children, I never thought that we would be able to stay friends. I thought we would end up hating each other. Though as jokingly mean as we may be to each other, she has always been there for me and has supported me through almost everything except my dumb decisions. I've known her for a long time. We had the same piano teacher, the same Odissi teacher. We went to the same preschool and elementary school until first grade when I moved to Katy. She's always been one of the most smartest, talented, and most caring people I've known. Krisha has always been the smarter one, and I've always been the taller one. This is how it's been for as long as I can remember. We did everything together. In fact, we lived next to each other for about 5 years. Our families had bought townhouses in Houston that we would go to every weekend.
When both of our families were there, the fence in the backyard would be left open so that we could just walk over. And when we weren't in Houston, we were in Jasper going over to watch Mahabharat and eat dinner. And almost every year from 2009 to 2014, our families would meet up, order pizza from the local Jasper Little Caesars, and watch the Super Bowl together. I have to thank Krisha for a lot. I always looked up to Krisha, even though I don't admit it much. I admired how she was passionate for every activity she took part in, and how she did it so well and made it look so easy. I admired how talented she was. She was the one who inspired me to start taking tennis lessons with Mr. Gillis and Odissi lessons with Diptashi. Even though Odissi didn't end up sticking with me, if I didn't start taking those tennis lessons with her all those years ago, I wouldn't be playing right now. So for that, thank you, Krisha. As for Odissi, well, unfortunately, I wasn't given the opportunity to wear my glasses while dancing. If I was, though, you would be giving a speech at my Rangapravesh summer of 2025, Krisha. Anyways, Krisha, you're one of the most talented people I've had the pleasure of meeting, and I know you're going to do great in college and even way after that. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but I love you. And thank you for everything. Thank you.
The last on my list here is Nisha Rath, her cousin from New York. Nisha?
All right, hello, good evening, everyone. I'll quickly introduce myself. As you just heard, I'm Nisha, and I'm one of Krisha's cousins from New York, one who is significantly older than her. Believe me, I'm starting to get an extra gray hair or two to prove it. I'm not very thrilled about that. But enough about me. I'm here to talk to you about the lady of the hour herself, Krisha. So to start talking about her, I'll tell you about the first time I met her. She was 1 year old and wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. I tried to talk to her, I didn't exist. Was I holding her favorite toy? I didn't exist. Did I try to share some delicious snacks? I was essentially a stranger to her. It was painful, to say the least, because she was such a cute baby. She had the biggest cheeks, the biggest eyes. I mean, our family just happens to produce really cute babies, so she was no exception. So, needless to say, I was heartbroken. Thankfully, the next time we saw her, which was a year or two later, she stopped looking at me like I'm a complete piece of trash. She was eager to hang out with her cousins from New York. It was amazing, and our dynamic only improved from there going forward. She was bright, bubbly, and notably refused to be called cute. Yes, this pint-sized preschooler insisted that I was the cute one. I mean, all right. We'd later all go to India together, New York cousins and Texas cousins alike. We would all hang out as a unit. Krisha and I would watch Tom and Jerry together because that was the one cartoon over in India that we could understand. And she would hide her face in my arm during the scary parts. And also during that trip, I had a little stockpile of icebreaker mints that I would hand out to everyone daily throughout the trip. Krisha in particular was quite fond of them. During one of our plane rides, Krisha told me, and I quote, "Sometimes after I wake up from a nap, I like to have an icebreaker." Needless to say, we were all in awe of her powers of subtlety. So right now, though, I am so proud of Krisha and how far she has come. She has changed so much in such a short period of time. She has developed a healthy amount of sass along the way, as I'm sure many of you can attest to. This is much to my pleasure and much to her sister's chagrin. And look at her now. We are gathered both in person and virtually for her Rangapravesh, and she's on her way to college this year as well. It's incredible. Just know this, Krisha, no matter how much time passes and no matter how much things will change, you are always welcome to my mints, icebreaker or otherwise. You don't have to be subtle about it. You can just ask. Love, Nisha Nani.
Thank you for the lovely speeches. I noticed all the young folks here came with a phone to read their message, and here I am reading on font size 25. on a hard piece of paper. The best part about Rangapravesh is you actually, not only get to perform in front of the audience, you actually get to change your costume a couple of times throughout the dance program. And while I'm trying to keep you busy here, Krisha is now changing into her another costume, and she'll be here shortly. You all heard from her friends about Krisha and her achievements. I said she reminds me of a little firecracker. She's only 14 years old. She's heading to college, graduated from high school. She can probably play any instrument, I feel, that she wishes to. She is a very good singer. I think she last told me she wants to learn Hindi so she can sing better, perfect her pronunciation in Hindi, so she can learn a lot of things together. I want to talk about the child in her. I heard from her parents when she went to Hawaii on a trip, and one morning, Durba gave cereals for breakfast, and she refused to eat the cereals because she said she doesn't want to fall sick. So the parents were confused why she is refusing to eat something as simple as Cheerios. So turns out she read the cereal box and interpreted high fiber as high fever. That's the child in her. So Krisha, Divya and Diksha always tell me she's a grandma. She talks like a grandma. And I'm like, grandma goes for a walk. She has her world, but there is the child in her too, which is ready to, grow and mature now. And I'll see how she does in college, and I know she will do awesome in college. So with that, I will introduce the third item of the day. She is still getting ready, so we'll give her some more time. I will also talk about Krisha's dreams. Krisha does have a fear factor, and she is very scared of cockroaches, if anybody doesn't know. That is one thing you can use against her. She also saw a movie, the Toy Story movie, and apparently I haven't seen that. And in that movie, there is a toy bear, teddy bear. And Krisha would dream about the teddy bear scaring her. And she would just cry and won't tell that the teddy bear was the scary part that was hurting her. Every time the parents asked, she would say, oh, it's the real bear. It's not the toy bear that actually, made her worried at night and kept her awake. But she has gone far above that. I think she stays in Houston with her nanny now and going to college. So she's growing strong person now. Our next item of the evening is a Bengali song. After the intricate and exquisite Kirwani Pallavi, we come to a presentation with a totally different flavor. Krisha's next presentation is to a Bengali song by none other than Kobi Guru Rabindranath Tagore. This song is an all-time favorite with lovers of Rabindra Sangeet. This apparently frivolous and easy rhythmic song conceals much more beneath its surface, much more than what meets the eye. It is a celebration of the dualities of life, which is a contrast but not a conflict. Light and darkness, beauty and ugliness, life and death. Life is a tapestry of contrast, an oscillation between opposites and is never constant. The rhythm of the song pulsates with this eternal rhythm, the rhythm of life. And this rhythm makes room for more expressions. To this Rabindra Sangeet, the singer introduces a section of Hindustani classical bandish in perfect juxtaposition to the original song. Entering the realm of bandishes, the composition naturally puts on a different attire. The new composition does not express the sentiments of the original Bengali song. The very celebration of opposites and dualities is what the Rabindra Sangeet is about. So even if the Bandish composition is an apparent opposite, it still justifies itself. Sarod maestro and leading muse arranger Shri Pratyush Banerjee uses a host of interesting percussive sounds in this song. The song ends in a climax, but with a different feel. It has been designed in the form of a sawal jawab, a conversation between the two art forms. Mama chitte niti nritte with the bandish Nache Sundar Nar is based on Raga Kafi and is set to Dadra, a rhythm cycle of 6 beats. Today's rendition of Momo Chitte Niti Nritte is sung by Sri Shaunak Chattopadhyay, and dance choreography is by Guru Smt Supradipta Datta.
Mama chitte niti nritte ke je nache tata thui thui tata thui thui tata thui thui. Mama chitte niti nritte ke je nache tata thui thui tata thui thui tata thui thui. Tari shange ki mridonge shoda baje tata thui thui tata thui thui tata thui thui. Tari shange ki mridonge shoda baje tata thui thui tata thui thui tata thui thui. হাসি কান্না হীরা পান্না দোলে ভালে কাঁপে ছন্দে ভালো মন্দ তালে তালে। হাসি কান্না হীরা পান্না দোলে ভালে কাঁপে ছন্দে ভালো মন্দ তালে তালে। নাচে জন্ম নাচে মৃত্যু পাছে পাছে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই। নাচে জন্ম নাচে মৃত্যু পাছে পাছে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই। কি আনন্দ কি আনন্দ কি আনন্দ দিবারাত্রি নাচে মুক্তি নাচে বন্ধ। কি আনন্দ কি আনন্দ কি আনন্দ দিবারাত্রি নাচে মুক্তি নাচে বন্ধ। সে তরঙ্গে ছুটি রঙ্গে পাছে পাছে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই। সে তরঙ্গে ছুটি রঙ্গে পাছে পাছে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই। মম চিত্তে নীতি নৃত্যে কে যে নাচে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই। মম চিত্তে নীতি নৃত্যে কে যে নাচে নাচে সুন্দর নার নাচে সুন্দর নার নাচে। নবেলিয়ল বেলি চতুর নবেলিয়ল বেলি চতুর। সঙ্গ বাজে ডফ মৃদঙ্গ সঙ্গ বাজে ডফ মৃদঙ্গ। পায়াল কি ঝনকার নাচে সুন্দর নার নাচে সুন্দর নার সুন্দর चल बन बन ठन बने दुल्हन चले बन ठन बने दुल्हन पग पायल हाथ गगन पग पायल हाथ गगन रूम झूम चाल चलत रूम झूम चाल चलत सब मोह निहार नाच सुंदर नार नाच सुंदर नार नाच बेलियल बेले चतुर न बेलियल बेले चतुर संग बाज डफ मृदंग संग बाज डफ मृदंग पायल की जनका चित्ते निति मृदे के जनाचे तता थोई थोई तता थोई थोई तता थोई थोई मम चित्ते निति मृदे के जनाचे नाचे नाचे सुंदर नार नाचे सुंदर नार तारी श्रृंगे की मृदंगे सदा बाजे बाजे संग बाजे डफ मृदंग संग बाजे डफ मृदंग ताता थोई थोई ताता थोई थोई ताता थोई थोई जनकार नाच सुंदर नार नाच सुंदर नार एक
As we heard before, a pallavi is an elaboration of both dance and music that manifests itself into nritta or abstract, non-interpretive compositions. Typically, a pallavi is a series of rhythmic patterns that are woven with a combination of simple to very complex movements that bring out the beauty of the dance form and also demonstrate the intricacies of the style. The piece that Krisha is now going to present has all the characteristics of the pallavi. It explores and builds on the basics of Odissi not only through introducing varied beat cycles executed within the basic 4-beat cycle of the song, but also through the interesting segments like a sargam, a bouquet of notes sung in a fast tempo, and jugma dvanda, or a conversation between the singer and the dancer. However, the choreograph has introduced a theme that binds these segments. This theme is not only evident in several movements throughout the dance, but also in the 2 verses at the 2 ends of the composition. The dancer begins with a verse where she narrates the story of Krishna's father, Nanda, requesting Radha to escort Krishna through the dense forest on a cloudy day. The concluding verse is adopted from Gita Govindam and poet Kalidasa's Meghadutam. Here, the dancer, on seeing the fleeting rain clouds, requests them to carry her message to her lover. This pallavi, with the expression segments, or the Swabhinaya pallavi, is aptly named Barsha, as the theme is of the rainy season. Barsha is based on Rag Miyake Malhar and is set to Ektali, a rhythm of cycle 4 beats. Music composition is by Shri Debashis Sarkar, and dance choreography is by Guru Smt Paushali Mukherjee. Krisha learned this piece in a workshop from Srimati Kaustavi Sarkar. Please welcome Krisha to the stage to present Swabhinaya Pallavi.
मेघैर्मेदुरामं वरां वनभूवः क्षमास्त्मा द्रुमै नरकतं हिरोरायं त्वमेव तदेमा राधे गृहं प्राप्या इति था नन्दने देशिताश्चलितो प्रत्याध्वा कुञ्जद्रुमं राधा राधा माधव जयन्ती जमुना बोले राह के रे रे पा 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 Hare pa 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 ga ma re sa ni da ni sa re pa ga ma sa re pa ga ga ma re sa ni da ni sa re pa ga ma sa ma re pa ga ga ma re sa re da ni re pa ga ma sa एक दो जिना ताकि टकार ताकि टकार आजो ताकि टकार ताकि टकार ताकि टकार जिना ताकि टकार ताकि टकार आजो ताकि टकार ताकि टकार काम 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 राम रे रे सा मेरा रे रे सा रे पा गा मा रे सा रे रे पा 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 गा मा रे रे सा ni da ni sa re pa ga ma re sa ma re pa 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 ga ma re re sa ni da ni sa re pa ga ma re sa pa ga ga ma re sa ni da ni sa re pa ga ma re sa ma ba ni za ni sa ni za pa ni pa ma ni pa ma re ni za ma re pa ma ni ga ni ma ga ni sa re sa re re pa pa ga ma re sa ni ga re pa ga ma re sa ma re pa pa ga ma re sa ni da ni re pa ga ma re sa re re pa pa ga ma re sa re da ni re pa ga ma re sa re re pa pa ga ma re sa re da ni re pa ga ma re sa re re pa pa ga ma re sa re da ni Sare sa ni sa ni da ni ma pa ga ma re sa re ni da ni ni sa. Ni sa re pa ma pa ga ma re sa ma pa ni da ni pa ga ma re ni sa ma pa ni da ni sa ni pa ga ma re sa ni da ni sa re sa. Sa ni da ni sa ma ga ma ni sa re pa ga ma ni sa ni da ni sa. Sa ni da ni pa ga ma re sa ni da ni sa. Ni sa re pa ga ma re sa ma pa ni da ni pa ma pa ni da ni sa ga ma re sa ni da ni sa. Sa ni da ni sa ma ga ma ni sa re pa ga ma ni sa ni da ni sa. Pa ga ma re sa pa ga ma re sa re ma pa ni sa. Pa ga ma re sa pa ga ma re sa re ma pa ni sa. Pa ga ma re sa pa ga ma re sa re ma pa ni sa. Re re pa 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 ga ma re 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 sa re pa ga ma re sa re re pa pa ga ma re re pa ga re re pa pa ga ma re re pa ga ma re. तस्यास्तिक्तै वनराजमदै रवासितं जन्ममुञ्च प्रतिहतरयं त्वमादाय गच्छेत् अन्तः सारं गत तुलयितुं नानिल शक्ष्यति त्वम् रिक्तः सर्वभवति लघु पूर्णता गौरवाय ah
Such a beautiful execution by Krisha. For a moment, I felt the sculptures of the temples have come alive. I have now the pleasure of inviting Krisha's uncle and aunt, who have come all the way from New York, to come to the stage and say a few words about Krisha.
Wasn't that amazing? Those eyes, those expressions, just unbelievable. I'll come to those eyes, but please join me in another round of applause too. Please. Hello, everyone. I am Parshuram, and
I'm Lippy
we are the other Raths
from New York.
New York. We are, as you may have noticed from some similarities, she's older sister of Durba. And we are the cousins. Well, where is my? Yeah, we're the other relatives that Durba and Kalyan have here. So we like to, while I try to find my write-ups. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. As I was saying, we're the other Raths. So besides sharing the same last names, okay. As the Jasper Raths, they're the closest relatives that we have here in this country. So what I try to do or like to do every year is to visit them from New York to here to be with them. Although it's not the ideal time to visit Texas in summer, but we love the family. So we like to come here every year. So we have so many stories to talk about, but I'm not going to bore you talking about all the things that happens in Texas. But being in Texas, visiting Texas many times, we have learned many things. One of the things that I never knew, and even today, many people in New York don't know that there are such things exist as pickle pops. Even today in my these days in my colleagues in New York, if I tell them there are such things as pickle pops, they say, "What is it?" They don't believe it until I show them the that you can buy it in Amazon. There's such thing as pickle pops. So, those are the things we love. We have learned and about Texas over the years. Anyway, we, instead of boring you about our experience and about visiting here, I think we're here to talk about Krisha. I'm going to let Lippy talk about her a little bit. Then, sorry, Krisha, I think I'm going to join your sisters too roasting you a little bit. So you go ahead first.
Well, when I was thinking about what I was going to talk today, I went back to the day when I first met Krisha. She was this tiny and cute little girl who'd cling to her mother and wouldn't come to me. She was only coming to me when Durba wasn't around. She probably at that time was just confusing me with Durba, but thankfully, as she grew a little older, she warmed up to me. Most of you know that she's a gifted student. I remember the 2 or 3-year-old Krisha reciting all the 50 states, starting with Alabama, Alaska, and then ending it with Wyoming. We all were at that time requesting her to do it over and over again, and she was getting mildly annoyed with us. At that time, she was a puzzle to me. I would wonder at that time what she was going to be when she grows up. You know, about 14 years back, God handed Durba, Kalyan, Divya, Diksha a blank canvas full of potential. Then they started putting different colors on it. A beautiful picture was emerging out of that canvas. You know, I believe that it takes a village to raise a child. But I think in Krisha's case, this whole community over here, all of you have shaped Krisha one way or the another. When, first Divya started learning Odissi, Diksha followed her, and Krisha was way too young to be in a dance class. I remember that in one of our annual summer trips to Texas, Divya and Diksha, they put up a Odissi dance show for us. But Krisha didn't want to be left behind. I still remember her face vividly. A pouty-faced Krisha kept saying, I want to do Basant Pallavi. I want to do Basant Pallavi. And yes, she performed the Basant Pallavi that day. At that time, she was barely able to hold her Tribhanga pose. And now, look at her. How amazing she is. Divya, Diksha, you girls put that Odissi color in that canvas, and you girls probably don't realize how much you two have saved her. Then Deepta worked on that canvas as well, their guru. She poured her heart and soul into teaching Krisha, and now here we are today, enjoying this wonderful performance. It was not just the dance, she nurtured her character. Krisha, you have a solid foundation now, and I'm sure you are going to be a wonderful human being. You are incredibly lucky to have so many well-wishers. And as you are starting an amazing journey forward, here are a few tips from your favorite Mausi. Number 1, listen to your parents. They have your best interest at their heart. You may not always like what you hear, but you know that they always have your back. Number 2, Divya and Diksha may sound annoying sometimes, but but you will realize that when you need the most, they will always be there for you. And number 3, ask for help. It may be sometimes very hard, but it's one of the bravest and the best thing you can do, especially as you continue to grow up. And the last one here, don't lose that sparkle in your eyes. Don't lose that smile. I know you are going to do great things, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how that canvas changes over the year. And I'll be on the sidelines to cheer you on. Good luck with everything, Krisha. God bless you. Love you.
Oh yeah, Krisha, I'm not done yet. I need to tell you a couple things in front of all these people. Well, that was amazing, the dance that we just saw, and that's one of the reason is that she has a great teacher like Dipta. Thank you, Dipta, for that. Yes. We have been amazed by Krisha, of course, in a good way, from when she was very young. She's smart, she's hardworking, she's loving, she's independent, etc., etc. Well, that sounds like I'm reading a resume, so let's move on. But it's all true, though. I remember one incident. I was talking about her eyes. One event that happened in one of these summer trips to Jasper, Texas. So she was probably about 8 years old, but she pretended to be like 15 or 16. So she wanted to be very independent and, as like what Krisha is now, she wants to do everything. In Jasper, there we decided to go for a skating to do a skating rink. All this roller skating rink. So I had all these 5 cousins. Ours 2 girls and their 3 girls in the back of a big SUV. A family-size SUV, so it's a very high, step. And we both took them to the skating rink. And so we stopped there, got to the parking lot and opened the door. All the kids came out, and Krisha was in the car seat. I go there, just my parental instinct kicked in. I go there to unbuckle her to lift her up because the seat was very high. She wasn't having it. She gave me a look that I can never forget. She was like a spear going through me there. And she kept repeating, all by myself, all by myself, all by myself. She wanted to get off from the car seat all by herself and go to the skating rink. It's so much so that for the next half an hour or so, she didn't even look at me directly. She was not having it. But in any case, while she, warmed up to me, by the time it was all done, by the time we came out of the rink, she was, of course, sitting on my shoulders and giggling. That's how she is. Talking about Krisha, I know how independent you are or you want to be. And we all couldn't be any more proud, of all the accomplishments you have done so far. And we're actually eagerly looking forward to what you'll be doing in the future. We know you are very smart, an excellent dancer that we see it here today, a singer, a teacher, and so much more. And you were only 14. So at one point I thought, how hard could it be to dance to a song? But I don't want to embarrass myself in front of everybody here to dance to a song, because the only thing I can do is that, or act to a song is that, just close my eyes and sing a prayer. Ahe doya moya viswa bihari. Forget about that. That's not going to happen. So that's the best I can do. But I thought I could challenge you, Krisha, but I couldn't because this pandemic, knocked me out of the competition here. I put on a lot of weights. I can't dance anymore. All right, Krisha, jokes aside, keep dancing, keep singing, or whatever you want to do. You know that you have unconditional love and support from all of us. That's the beauty of being youngest. You can always say that you have at least one more person to spoil you than any of your sisters. So, as you have already experienced, prepare to be roasted by them today, which they already did. But underneath that, there is nothing but love and affection. And of course, a big thank you to Dipta. Dipta, you may not realize, but you are a fundamental part of shaping what Krisha is today and perhaps what she'll be in the future. So thank you again. Well, thank you all for listening to me and Lippy, and enjoy the rest of the program today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next presentation is yet another Abhinaya. Abhinaya literally means mime or conveying a thought. It is depicted by facial expressions and meaningful hand gestures. It is always based on a story. The Abhinaya being presented now is based on an Oriya song by the famous poet Sri Banamali Das and is a depiction of the love story between Radha and Krishna. Now, Krisha will do a brief demonstration to explain this piece. The story begins when Radha finds Krishna in her house. When she demands a reason, Lord Krishna urges her to come out of the house with him. Radha responds, "Oh my Lord, the village thoroughfare is forbidden for me. For you, Krishna, I dare not go to the river Yamuna to fetch water. You are so mischievous," says Radha. She goes on to remind him of his encounters with gopis. She alleges, "Krishna, as you pass by the road, you ask the gopis for milk and curd. You offer them gold chain in return. However, when it is time to pay, you do not pay at all, saying the curd has spoiled. You, Krishna, are the king of Gopapura and the master of flute. Oh, my sweet Lord Krishna, play the flute once for me." Krishna ignores the request. Then Radha snatches the flute and tries playing it herself. Radha responds, "Oh no, I can't. Please, Lord Krishna, play it once for me." Krishna playfully tries to teach Radha. Krishna's touch transports her to a different world. As always, smitten by the tune of Krishna's flute, Radha goes into a trance. The story goes on. Radha accuses Nanda's son of stealing butter and harassing the milkmaids when they try to cross the river to get to the markets of Mathura by demanding their affection. Radha compares the disparity between them. Though they both come from the same noble status, only Lord Krishna has the right to express his feelings. But Radha says enough is enough. Finally, Radha drags him out of the house and closes the door on him. This Abhinaya is based on Rag Khamaj and set to Khemta Tal. Dance choreography is by Guru Sri Kerucharan Mahapatra. Music composition is by Pandit Bhubaneshwar Mishra.
नित्य ही बातें जाऊं रे कालिया नित्य ही बातें जाऊं नित्य ही बातें जाऊं रे कालिया नित्य ही बातें जाऊं नित्य ही बातें जाऊं रे कालिया नित्य ही बातें जाऊं नित्य ही बातें जाऊं रे कालिया नित्य ही बातें जाऊं घाटों कोड़ी मागिले कालिया घाटों कोड़ी मागिले कालिया मुरली बजाऊं मुरली बजाऊं खाऊं रे कालिया मुरली बजाऊं खाऊं रे कालिया मुरली बजाऊं खाऊं रे कालिया सुना तो लगे गोपाल मोना तुझे गोपापुर राजा रे कालिया तुझे गोपापुर राजा तुझे गोपापुर राजा रे कालिया तुझे गोपापुर राजा के मत सजारे मुरली बजाऊं के मत सजारे मुरली बजाऊं आहुरे देखिए बजारे कालिया सुना के मत सजारे मुरली बजाऊं के मत सजारे मुरली बजाऊं आहुरे देखिए बजारे कालिया सुना आहुरे देखिए बजारे कालिया सुना आहुरे देखिए बजारे कालिया सुना তোলাগে গোপদাঙ্গ মনারে কালিয়া সোনা তোলাগে নদীরে যমুনারে কালিয়া সোনা তোলাগে গোপদাঙ্গ মনারে কালিয়া সোনা তোলাগে নদীরে যমুনারে কালিয়া সোনা তোলাগে গোপদাঙ্গ মনা তুহিয়া তুনাঙ্গ চাতরে কালিয়া তুহিয়া তুনাঙ্গ তুহিয়া তুনাঙ্গ চাতরে কালিয়া তুহিয়া তুনাঙ্গ মথুরা হাট গানে মথুরা হাটকু গাহিবি কি গানে মথুরা হাটকু গাহিবি কি গানে মথুরা হাটকু গাহিবি কি গানে নীতি মাগু খাও ভাত রে কালিয়া সোনা নীতি মাগু খাও ভাত রে কালিয়া সোনা তুহি বড় ঘর ওরে কালিয়া মুহি বড় ঘর তুহি বড় ঘর ওরে কালিয়া মুহি বড় ঘর শরমুখী নাহি রে কালিয়া শরমুখী নাহি রে কালিয়া মরম কথাটি শরমুখী নাহি রে কালিয়া মরম কথাটি তো লাগে উপদাঙ্গ মনারে কালিয়া সোনা তো লাগে যমুনারে কালিয়া সোনা তো লাগে উপদাঙ্গ মনারে কালিয়া সোনা তো লাগে উপদাঙ্গ মনা
Beautiful execution by Krisha. I think she has presented a bouquet of dances from the Rabindra Sangeet to this Odia song dance and the other Odissi dances. Before I forget, I mentioned earlier we have our gurus here from the local schools. I would like to acknowledge their presence and would like to thank you. For in the audience, if I can have the gurus stand, Srimati Kalpana Subbarao, as a token of thank you, we would like to present a flower for you. Srimati Niramani Venesetti and Srimati Vinita Arora. Can I have the lights on the audience, please? Thank you. Thank you, Vinita ji. Here. I don't see one more. Yeah. I think she may have left. We are almost there, but before we move on to the last item of the evening, we would like to invite some people from our community and cousins who have come from a long distance to attend this event. Like Krisha's aunt said, it takes a village to raise a child. And it does take a village to raise a child. And our community and our families here, far away from our motherland, are the people that have helped to frame Krisha to where she is today, and in many ways have contributed to where she is today. I would like to invite Sanjay to the stage first, followed by Srimant. And just reminding, if you're coming onto the stage, please remove your shoes because we have Jagannathji on the stage.
Good evening, namaskar. My name is Sanjay Datta. I'm Guru Supradipta's unknown half. So you know, all of you know her, but I'm on the backside, and I'm happy with that. So today we are here to celebrate Krisha's Odissi Rangapravesh. It's a special day for her. It's a special day for the Rath family, and it's a special day for all of us. So you want to ponder, right? When did Krisha, and you heard from other people, when did Krisha first start learning Odissi? Oddly enough, her training in Odissi did not start on a specific date. Actually, Krisha was learning Odissi ever since she was born. And Divya Diksha were already coming to her house for their lessons. And Krisha's introduction to Odissi started from the time she began coming to her house with her family. In those days, the classes used to be held in the garage, and if you got a chance to peep in, you could have seen Krisha sitting like a queen in Dipta Mashi's lap, and as if it was her Shingashan, or you call the throne. Totally engrossed, totally focused on the activities that was going on. Every year we had the Alok Utsav, where all the students of Dipta Mashi get together and showcase their skills. And then Krisha would show up in those events fully clad in the Odissi attire, all set to enter the stage. And let me remind you that this was even before she started to train formally in Odissi. And if any one of you attended those events, you'll remember that she was always the center of attraction for everybody. She looked so adorable wearing the Odissi costume, and the group photos were never complete without Krisha being at the center. She became quickly the most famous face for the Kalangan Dance Academy, and they became kind of synonymous. So we have a great tradition at Kalangan. Every student becomes part of the Kalangan family. Their parents become part of the Kalangan family. Their grandparents become part of the Kalangan family. Their parents become our friends for life. Supradipta becomes Dipta Mashi or Dipta Auntie. Sanjay becomes Sanjay Uncle or Sanjay Kaku. Our son Sandipto becomes Brother Sandipto. And our pets, Bhim, Karno, and Arjun, they become their pets as well. Weekend classes became a nice retreat for all the parents. And while the kids were taking classes, moms and dads would sit down and talk, sometimes bringing in tea and snacks. It used to be a very festive atmosphere. Now a few words about the Rath family. Celebration of Krisha's Rangapravesh is not complete without us celebrating the Rath family. As far as Odissi is concerned, their journey was truly an odyssey. For the first few years, they did not have a house in Sugarland. For every weekend, the family used to pack their stuff, drive down 180 miles, and head down to Houston. They used to stay in one of those motels on 59 and Kirkwood. And during the classes, Durba used to sit with the girls, and Kalyanji and I used to sit in the living room. Every weekend, I was to look forward to our discussions. Very soon I realized that we were bonding with a very special family, a family that was guided by the philosophy and the spiritual discipline of Bhagavad Gita, a family that always believed in humility, a family that is always respectful to others, a family who always thought about others, a family who always cares about Dipta auntie and has always been there for her, be it in a Rangapravesh, be it in an event, or the late night calls Duba and Dipta used to have quite often. They're a family who had no qualms to entrust us with their daughters. And how much we loved it. Every time the Jasper sisters came and stayed with us, we really enjoyed their stay. It was always memorable. So now Krisha has all the values that the Rath family holds dearly, but some traits, as you've heard from so many people here, she's a bit different. She's goofy, absent-minded, always thinking of something else, but she's just a darling. To see her grow from a small baby to become a smart young lady has given us immense pleasure. Today we celebrate a big milestone for her, a pinnacle after years of training, but Rangapravesh is just the beginning of her journey in Odissi. Our hope and our wish is that Krisha and her sisters continue to grow as Odissi dancers and continue to learn and become ambassadors of this beautiful art form. As far as Krisha is concerned, her love and passion for Odissi is going to be there. Just like she has never had a start date, I'm sure she'll never have an end date. Namaskar.
Thank you, Sanjay. I would now like to invite Srimant to please come to the stage.
Thank you, Sartapa. Jagannath Swami, Nayanapathagami Bhavatame. Sartapa, I was sitting in the last bench and your Zumka was signing. I'm sure Manas Bhai must have got it from Bareilly. And Sanjay, nice to see your Vijay Mallya look. And my wife is not a celebrity like yours, but she's a student of your wife. So that way I'm also connected to celebrities. Okay, so the crux of the moment. The last song was Tolagi Gopodanda Monare Kaliya Suna. I'm like still tranced. I have been to Vrindavan. If you have been to Vrindavan, the Krishna's Leela place, that place is still alive with that energy. If you take a dip in Yamuna and walk in the streets of Vrindavan, you can feel that energy. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, there are three things that's tangible God in this world, mundane world. One is Jagannath Mahaprasad Nirmalya. The second is Gangajal, the water of Ganga. And the third one is the Braja Raja, the dust of the streets of Vrindavan, where Krishna used to have his lila. Tolagi Gopadanda Manare Kaliyasuna. What a beautiful song. Krisha, you turn this stage into Vrindavan. And why not? With your immense talent and everything that you have been bestowed upon by God Almighty Himself, why not? You know, there are three things that I always believe that takes a person to be what he or she is. Heredity, environment, and culture. Heredity, I don't have to tell you, all of you know, Kalyan Vaina and Durbanani, the DNA. So does Krisha have a choice not to be excellent? That's gone. Environment. Of course, you know, when your parents are like Durbanani and Kalyan Vaina, and your siblings are like Divya and Diksha, unique in their own ways, amazing, excellent, elegant, everything that they could be. And then, does she have a choice not to be at the top? So telling that, you know, she is extremely talented is an understatement. And I always, the first time when I went to Jasper to have Roger, I did not know them properly. Then I spoke to Kalyan Vaina over phone. Vaina, I don't know you. Is it okay if I come there with my family to your house and stay overnight? Yes, please come over. And also, then coincidentally, the last name of my wife's and Kalyan Vaina's last name, Rath, So immediately they connected. So my kids felt like this our Mamugara. Then somehow, if you talk to Kalyan Vaina and if he speaks in Oriya, you know he uses that Chandrabindu. Jainthili, Khainthili. In my Mamugara, everyone, my mother, my Mamu, and everyone, they all speak like that. Jainthili, Khainthili. So I felt like immediately that connection, I was like overwhelmed. Oh my God, it's happening, you know. Then slowly, you know, the evening happened, and you never feel like that you are at someone's place like a guest to stay over, you know, asking their permission. I already felt like it's a family, but still, you know, be cautious. Then after evening, you know, discussion happens, and Krisha, all of you know, immensely talented. She explains me the meaning of Basang Sijirnani Jatha Vihaya Navani Grunnati Naroparani Tata Sarirani Vihaya Jirnani Nanyani Sanjati Navani Dehi. She is explaining me that this body is getting worn out like worn out cloth. The soul casts this body off and moves into another body. And she was probably 7 years old that time. And I was like amazed, oh my God, where am I? And Bhagavad Gita is very close to my heart. Any time I have any problem, I always refer Bhagavad Gita and I always get my answer. And today's date, 24th July, all of you must be knowing that today is Guru Purnima Day. This is also, you know, called as Vyasa Purnima, the radius Vyasa, and also the Veda Vyasa, Pi, and all of those things. So what an auspicious day to choose to have such an master-disciple celestial extravaganza on this stage. Behind every art, I believe there are 5 E's that I always code things to remember. That's energy, there is emotion, there is entertainment, then there is a little bit of economics as well. Everything involved, there is economics. And my most favorite, the last E is enlightenment. When you see certain things that she was explaining about while she was doing this, you know, rowing thing, you must have seen that you almost feel like you are sitting in a boat. She turned this stage into a river. That's emotion she brought into her performing art. I'm an artist. I don't call really, I'm a real artist. I, you know, translate complex business problems into easy to use visual interfaces. So that's like, you know, little bit different from performing arts. Performing arts is a different ballgame. What she has been doing, I mean, it has to, you know, she has almost performed 5 numbers, and the last number she's going to perform, she has remembered all the rhythms, beats, lyrics, and the steps she's performing and she's going to perform. So there is emotion involved, there is everything is involved, but at a certain moment, all of you must have got a goosebump, definitely. So that's, for me, is enlightenment. What sportsmen, athletes refer to as adrenaline, I call it enlightenment. You connect to your soul. You connect to your inner self. And Krisha, you have performed so well. And I am overwhelmed. And I don't know why I'm here to, you know, speak about. I'm definitely, you know, not better than anyone else present here. I'm the most inferior one here. But still, your love, you sent a text yesterday, Srimant Uncle, you have to speak few words. And as I refer to Divya, Diksha, and Krisha as Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati from day one, I said, okay, Ma Saraswati, as you wish, I'll speak few words. If I have said anything wrong, please forgive me, Ma Saraswati. And what do I have to say, words, you know, to guide you or anything? There's nothing that can, you know, you have the beacon in yourself, guiding light in yourself. And you have gurus like Supradipta Datta, your parents like Durbanani, Kalyan Vaina. The whole world is yours. Just go and take it over, fly high, kiss the sky. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Srimant. And by the way, the Jhumka is from Bareilly.com. So, next on my list is Krisha's cousins from Boston, Nithu.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here. I'm Krisha's Nithuvaina. I'm just yet another cousin. Before I start, I would like congratulate Krisha over for all the performances that she has done till now. They were all splendid, especially the Rabindra Sangeet one. Since I'm a big fan of Rabindranath Tagore and the emotions his poems evoke. That being said, I'm sure most of the cousins have embarrassed her a lot this evening. So today I want to share a story that puts Krisha in a bit of a different light. So this happened like a couple of months before I decided to move to US for my master's degree, and Krisha just walks up to me and she asks me Nitu Aina, how prepared are you to face a life in US? And I was like, what? You're just 9 years old. And but she didn't stop there. We had a full-blown conversation. She gave me do's, don'ts, how and how not to, and basically I kind of had a US 101 session from her when she was just 8 years old, and and the thing that I mostly remember from the conversation is in how much awe I was in of that 8-year-old kid who had the maturity to hold this conversation. And as she's completing this milestone of Rangapravesh and going forward with her college graduation, she'll be entering college in about 2-3 weeks now. So I just want to wish her all the best and hope that she stays this cheerful and wise. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now welcome Krisha's cousins from Atlanta, Pinku, Anu, Debbie, and Shubha. I think it's the family.
Namaskar, everybody.
Hello, everyone. We'll just wait for Debbie to come. Sorry. Sorry about all the noise that this little one was doing, on the side. Good evening and namaskar, everyone. This is Sovan, my wife Anu, and this is Subha and Debbie. We are Krisha's cousin from Atlanta. I hope that you're enjoying Krisha's Rangapravesh. They say that dancers don't need wings to fly, and Krisha's dance is an absolute testament to that. You are someone, Krisha, who proves time and again that you don't have to be of a certain age to do something, but with sheer dedication, persistence, and I wrote the word dedication twice, sorry. One can attain anything.
Sovan and I remember seeing your first dance performance online. I think it was for a Guru Purnima event, and you were dancing in between Diksha and Divya, and with your tiny little steps, you were trying to glance over and then see your sisters just to make sure that you're getting the next step right. You were also, trying to match them with all the eagerness, the spirit, and we loved the way you were trying to, take a twirl and then you had to recenter and balance yourself before you could go ahead and do the next set of steps. So seeing you perform when you were 4 years old, we were just in awe. How can somebody so small remember such a big dance sequence, but then we know that you're such a special human being, and though even now, every time you took that twirl, in the end you had that look at the camera that look at me go. You had that biggest smile. So that just made us feel so proud to know you then and to have seen your journey and you performing so many dance sequences all by yourself today. So thank you for letting us be here and inviting us to be a part of this special day for you.
Anu, Debbie, Subha, and I love you a lot, Krisha, and we pray that God blesses you in this and all your future endeavors, and you continue to inspire others as you have always been. Thank you.
the next dancers. We were almost at the end of the program. I think Krisha has done an excellent job so far, presenting her knowledge and getting ready to be a soloist performer in the future. This is going to be the last item of the evening, and as you know, Odissi is a very intense dance form. I can't imagine dancing this long continuously, even if we have few minutes of breaks. That's when she is actually changing costume and has that mental stress that she is to perform, come back ready and perform. Our concluding presentation is an expression-based composition that describes the different facets of the goddess Mahakali. Adorned with garlands of human skulls and smeared with the ash from the cremation ground, she is dark and furious incarnation of goddess Durga. Armed with the kharga, sword, chakra, jagged edge will, gada, the mace, trishula, the trident, chapa, bow, and barna, the arrow, Mahakali is described as Kala Ratri, the darkest night. Her complexion resembles the hue of the blue lotus flower. She is Shiva, the consort of Lord Shiva, as well as Narayani, the power of Vishnu. The three gunas or merits resonate with her energy: Sattva, Raja, and Tamas. Hence, she is both the origin and end of life, creating, nurturing, and ultimately destroying all. Mahakali's stuti is based on the ragas Mohana and Bhairavi and is set to Ekatali, a rhythm cycle of 4 beats. The music composition is by Sri Binod Bihari Panda, and the rhythm composition is by Sri Bijay Kumar Barik. Dance choreography is by Sri Guru Vichitrananda Swami. Krisha learned this composition in a workshop from Srimati Shirada Paul. Please welcome Krisha to perform the last item of the evening.
स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते जय कुंदे दीक्षा मुंदे जय कोटा बिहारी जय कुंदे दीक्षा मुंदे जय कोटा बिहारी जय सर्वगते कालो रात्रि नमोस्तुते कालो रात्रि नमोस्तुते कालो रात्रि नमोस्तुते कालो रात्रि नमोस्तुते कालो रात्रि शिवे सर्वार्थ साधे शरण्ये त्र्यंबके नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते सृष्टि स्थिति विनाश शक्ति नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते चैतन्य रूपां आद्यां विद्यां च धीमहि बुद्धिं यो नः प्रचोदयात् शांति शांति शांति
Transcendental. And I can see she's jumping in that side. She's done. Well, Krisha, you really made all of us proud. And I'm truly honored that you asked me to be your MC today. Krisha is here not just because of her hard work, dedication, and perseverance, but the other important thing is the parents. Without the support of parents, it's very hard to get to this point. I would now like to welcome the parents, Durba and Kalyan, to come to the stage. Here.
Thank you, Sarita, for the wonderful emceeing. I think that made a big difference. Thank you. A round of applause for Sarita, please.
यतो हस्तस्ततो दृष्टि यतो दृष्टिस्ततो मनः यतो मनःस्ततो भावं यतो भावंस्ततो रस. Where the hand goes, there the eyes should follow. Where the eyes are, the mind should follow. Where the mind is, there the expression should be brought about. Where the expression is, there the rasa, the flavor will be experienced by the audience.
The rasa of the performance would have not been experienced today without the guidance of Krisha's guru, Smt Supradipta Datta. Supradipta founded Kalangan in 2003 as a center of performing arts dedicated exclusively to Odissi. And it is the first such dance school in the greater Houston area. If there is one person who has introduced Odissi into the Houstonians, then it is Dipta, an accomplished dancer, a choreographer. She has helped to develop productions such as Ananta and Kabya. Those of you who have watched those, you know how powerful they are. In 2019, she founded Annoi, a non-profit that connects art, culture, literature, and music across the globe. It is not an over-exaggeration to say that Krisha, our youngest daughter, has been exposed to Odissi dance since she was in the womb. I used to take Divya and Diksha every Sunday for their Odissi class, and I would be sitting there. She never really stopped dancing once she started at the age of 3. I still remember dressing her up in an Odissi costume when she was 3, because without that, she won't let me get Divya and Diksha ready for their performances. Hope you all have enjoyed her dancing today as much as we have. Even though she is only 14, there is one person, Supradipta, who has given her the confidence to complete this Rangapravesh. Her unconditional love and constant guidance have driven Krisha throughout her life. Krisha has been affected by COVID just like every teenager in this hall are. They are performing artists, young artists, and it is the excitement of tying the kunguru around their ankle, getting ready backstage, putting on their costume, putting the jewelry, putting the makeup to impress the audience. That's what they thrive for. And all these teenagers have been deprived of that for last 2 years. But in spite of that, Dipta has done 3 Rangapravesh this season, and each one of them have performed really well. So I wanted to thank Dipta for bringing that passion for the art within these young dancers. It has been difficult, it has been challenging. There are some challenges of doing these dance classes over the Zoom, but nonetheless, Dipta has done it again. Our oldest daughter, Divya, when she was 5, she saw a Odissi performance by some other Odia kids, and at that time she cried for 3 hours straight, demanding an answer from us why we haven't taught her Odissi dance. And that's how we met Dipta for the first time. She impressed us immensely, not only with her simple, down-to-earth and loving personality, but also with her passion for Odissi. We soon started to come to Houston from Jasper every weekend to bring all of our daughters for dance classes. She has always accommodated the girls, considering our professions, and most of their classes start at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning. When the girls moved to Houston for high school, they really literally left Mayangan, but they found a new home, Kalangan. It became their home forever. Dipta auntie became their second mom, who has taken care of them emotionally, physically, and spiritually. She has picked them up from school so many times, and the girls have stayed with her, Sandipta, and their Sanjay uncle when we go out of town. The 3 of them have made sure that the girls feel like family. And over the years, me and Dipta, we have gotten close. And I know anytime I doubt my own maternal instinct, I can reach out to one person. And that is Dipta. I promised Krisha that I won't cry, but... So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Krisha's Guru Smt Supradipta Datta, accomplished dancer, choreographer, founder of Kalangan, Annoi, a devoted wife, a loving mother not only to Sandipta, but to hundreds of girls that have stepped into Kalangan. So I welcome Srimati Supradipta Datta.
Thank you, Durba, for that very generous introduction. This has to be a first. Usually, when I'm giving my speech, all my students know and they bet on it. When is Dipta auntie going to start crying? But Durba broke that and I was crying backstage already. So anyway, so most of what I have written in my speech I feel like you've already heard it, but please indulge me. Om Guru Pyo Namah. First and foremost, I would like to offer my pranam to all the elders who are present here and those who are watching the live stream. Thank you all for encouraging Krisha with your presence here today. My heartfelt gratitude to Vinita ji, Neelu and Kalpana. What better blessings can this child have on this auspicious occasion of Guru Purnima than to know that you are here to bless her. The other day, we were all trying to figure out when did Krisha start her training of Odissi so that it can be mentioned here today. Though she is just 14, I feel like, just as Durba mentioned, that she has been learning for more than 14 years. When Durba was pregnant with her, Divya had already started learning with me. Diksha was a baby, but would come every now and then to our 6 a.m. classes. Well, Divya was a joy to teach, but the presence of Diksha, a replica of Dora the Explorer, was an added bonus. But when baby Krisha started coming to class, I wanted every day of the week to be a Sunday. When she was old enough to sit up, she would come sit on my lap and play with the munjira. She would watch her older sisters dance and jump on my lap whenever the music would come on. It used to be Divya's class from 6 to 7 a.m. and then Diksha's from 7 to 8. But I do not exactly remember when, but Miss Krisha imposed a rule on all of us that at 8 a.m. after Diksha, it would be her turn. She was probably 2 at that time. So whatever song Diksha was working on, I would have to play the same song and let her dance for a few minutes. So that's how Krisha started her Odissi training. Most of the time, she would have her mudras right and would be throwing her arms in the general correct direction and keep on stamping her feet again and again. We all got a kick out of it, but that was not enough for her. Madam soon enough let us know that she was not happy, that both Divya and Diksha got corrections and I would be dancing with them to teach them, but with her, I was just sitting around having fun. So you see, from early on, she steered our relationship and took it to the next level when she thought it was time. I have to say that I was happy to follow her instructions. I know her first stage performance was in 2010 at the Kumar Purnima celebrations. Durba asked me to choreograph a dance for Divya and Diksha. And when they would practice, every day Krisha would get up and stand in the middle of those two and imitate them. So we just decided that let her be, whatever she does is fine. But if you ever get a chance, please ask one of the sisters to show you the video of that performance. You will get a kick out of it. Krisha was guiding me and teaching me not to underestimate her. But I proved to be a very poor student. That year, in November, we had our first student showcase, Alok Utsav. All the students participated. Everyone was in proper Odissi attire. As you just heard, Krisha managed to manipulate her mom to dress her up in Odissi gear and was sitting in the front row, soaking in all of the dances. I was unaware of the fact that in her mind, she was to perform at some point during the evening. We had a very successful showing, and I ended the program by thanking everyone. We were all wrapping up things, and then I heard this child crying, all of a sudden, I was a villain in everybody's eyes, including my husband's. I got looks that said, "How can you do this to a child?" Because Krisha didn't get to dance on stage. That day, I did learn a very valuable lesson. Lord Jagannath gives such thirst to only a few, and that thirst is to be quenched. I am glad Krisha chose me to be a part of her journey and not the other way around. Well, nothing much has changed. To this day, she is the same determined girl, but that determination comes coated in a genuinely sweet layer of humility, innocence, naivety, and an indomitable urge to soak in everything positive. The past year was tough, though I'm thankful that technology helped us to go on. As you can imagine, it was tough to teach and even tougher to learn through Zoom and Skype. Countless hours of Zoom sessions, sending instructional videos, receiving practice videos for correction, they were all worth it. I am so proud that Krisha could hold on to the level of perfection I expected from her. A large part of it was also because of the constant guidance from Durba. She made sure my instructions for Krisha were followed to a T. She spent hours watching her practice and then sharing her observations with me. Thank you, Durba, for being my in-person eyes on her till I could see her face to face again just a couple of months ago. Krisha's sisters were no less. I would always call Diksha, as I know she was the only one who always picks up the phone. And since Divya was at home with Krisha, she was my secret agent in keeping tabs on Krisha's practice hours. Here I want to thank Ms. Trupti as well for making sure Krisha was always hydrated, fed, and in class on time. With Durba and Kalyanji as parents and role models, Krisha has to be destined for great things. The way these two tirelessly try and nurture the talents of not only their daughters, but all children of the community is indeed something to be inspired of. For anything I or any of my dance parents need, they all know Durba will be there to help. She's constantly thinking, sharing, and implementing, with Kalyanji, of course, ideas on how to move forward the art form, the related trades, and overall the Odissi culture. All I can say is thank you for enriching my life by sharing your daughters with me. Well, I can go on forever, but I think I should try and wrap up now. But before I stop, I would like to thank a few people. First and foremost, Asia Society and Mr. Charles for accommodating all our requirements. A special shout out to Liz and Alauna for working with me on the lights and sound, trying so hard to give me exactly what I imagined, and it was perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Shormishta and Momita, for learning and helping with the lighting cues at such short notice. Thank you, Pia and Ashmita, with your little helpers, for taking care of our esteemed guests. Thank you to our stage managers, Divya, Diksha, Nisha, and Asha. Thank you to my backstage squad, the rocking and also efficient Tapatidi and Shravanidi. Thank you for taking care of first of my Jagannath and then of my Krisha. And thank you, Madhu, for being the runner, constantly running from one side of the stage to the other to the green room, making sure everything is running as per schedule. I see that Naveen uncle has left, but the beautiful pictures of Krisha that you see outside and that were used to make the wonderful invitation and the brochure were taken by Naveen uncle. Please convey my gratitude to him. And the invitation and the brochure was made by none other than our talented Srimant, who made time in spite of his extremely busy schedule. So thank you, Srimant. Don't know where you are. Oh, there. And Jake and Dolores. We all will be eagerly waiting to relive today again and again, and it will be possible because of your talents and the magic you always cast through your videography. Mr. Antonio, thank you for the structural support. Without this beautiful backdrop, I do not think today's performance would have been as enchanting. A very special thank to a very special person, my good friend Sarita, for guiding us through the dances. Ladies and gentlemen, a very big hand for our fabulous MC for tonight. If I'm missing somebody, please forgive me. In the end, I would like to finish my speech with one of my most favorite quotes by the great American dancer and choreographer, Miss Agnes DeMille. And this is for you, Krisha. To dance is to be out of yourself, larger, more beautiful, more powerful. This is power, it is glory on earth, and it is yours for the taking. Now I call Krisha onto the stage to receive her certificate.
She did it.
Now I invite Miss Krisha to say a few words.
Thank you, Diptati, for that amazing introduction. You have said...
We have your weapon here, sorry.
I'm height challenged. It is a problem. It's fine. Diptanti, in your speech, you said that I have guided you in our relationship, sometimes forcefully, for about as long as I've been alive. So I have a critique on your speech. 100 out of 100, amazing speech, except that it was so good that it almost made me cry. And I said that I wouldn't do that. So, 2 points off. Okay, now my actual introduction. First of all, namaskar and good evening to everyone here. And pranam to all of the elders watching, both in person and on the live stream. I hope you have all enjoyed the program. And firstly, I'd like to thank you all for coming out and supporting me as I commemorate this milestone as a dancer. And the fact that each and every one of you made the time to come here and see the program today means a lot. And before we conclude, I just wanted to take a moment to thank a few people for making this event possible. Firstly, I want to thank my family for everything they've done for me over the years. To my mom, a huge thank you for always supporting me as a dancer. For all of the early Sunday mornings you spent waking me up and getting me ready for class at 6 a.m., all of the late nights you spent organizing our dance bag, and all of the days spent getting Divya, Diksha, and I ready for a performance in between. And yes, a sincere thank you for every single time you reminded me to practice. And of course, sat down for an hour and watched me to make sure that I actually practiced. And as annoying as it might have been in the moment, I really am glad for every reminder, because without those bits of gentle and sometimes not so gentle encouragement, I would never have been able to complete my Rangapravesh today. Thank you. Also, a big thank you to my dad. While you may not have been quite so involved with all of our crazy dance shenanigans, you were always there, putting on bracelets, tying khungrus, having a camera at the ready at all times, giving your encouragement from the audience, and always being ready with a hug and a compliment after a performance, no matter how it went. And of course, you had the most important job of being the snack giver. While mom was the one to make sure that I was a good dancer, and the tanti, seeing the smile on your face after every performance made me feel like a good dancer, and I can't thank you enough for the love and support that you gave me. Thank you to my older sisters, Divya and Diksha, for giving the best role models I could have, and not just as dancers. While it's a little funny now to watch your practice videos of mom's questionable Odissi choreography to Vande Mataram and think about how I thought you were the most amazing dancers ever, you really were the inspiration that mini me needed to become the dancer I am today. And honestly, even though it used to be pretty irritating, I'm very proud to be known as Divya and Diksha's little sister. Well, I'm glad to get the chance to thank my family for all of the ways they have encouraged me as a dancer and a person over the years. There were so many more people who made this event possible who I'd like to thank. And if your name isn't mentioned here, I am sincerely sorry, and it was definitely not intentional. But your help with this event is definitely very much appreciated, and I will try and thank as many people as possible. First, a big thank you to our amazing MC for tonight, Sarita Auntie. I know you spent more than a few hours making sure that the introduction for every dance was perfect, and you kept us laughing with your hilariously random stories while we worked out the script and rehearsed. I really can't thank you enough. I'd also like to thank Mr. Antonio again for remaking this amazing temple backdrop. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I know it took hours and hours to set up, so thank you so much. Can we get another round of applause for Mr. Antonio? Thank you to my amazing cousins and extended family, Parshram Mosa, Lepi Mausi, Ashanani, Nishanani, Nitubaina, Pinkubaina, Anupauja, Debbie, and Shobha. Did I get everybody? For flying or driving in from New York and Atlanta to come and support me today, packing desserts, a lot of them, and setting up the entire lobby area while I was chilling in a back room. And also, I do want to say thank you to all of my family members who have supported me throughout the years who couldn't be here today. We definitely would have loved for you to be able to be here, but I know a lot of you are watching on the YouTube live stream, and I can't thank you enough for the support. Thank you to Aparna Auntie, Suchna Auntie, Sangeeta Auntie, Ratnashri Auntie, Aditi, and Anupriya for taking care of the snacks, drinks, getting the box dinner packed in the front lobby, and generally making sure that my mom didn't get too stressed out about anything other than me. And also thank you, Mita Auntie, for making what I hear are amazing laddus as dessert, which I'm really excited to eat. Thank you to Kunal Bhana and Miss Joanne for helping us live stream the performance on YouTube Live. We are so grateful that we were able to have a way for the people who couldn't be here with us today to watch this milestone in my dance journey along with the rest of us. Thank you to Navin Uncle for taking and getting prints of the photos that you might have seen in the front lobby. And thank you, Shrimant Uncle, for using a few of those photos to design the beautiful invitation and brochure. Thank you to Balukake, Simamausi, Majhamamu, and Baghawai for finding the saris and making them into the beautiful costumes I've been wearing. As we weren't able to go to India to find saris, Balukake, Simamausi, and Majhamamu spent countless hours on WhatsApp video call, helping my mom, sisters, and I to choose saris. I know we were very picky and probably horrible customers, so thank you for helping us. Lastly, I would like to thank the gurus who have taught me over the years. Ratikantanko, Rosie Auntie, Kaustavi Auntie, and Shri Radha Didi. The lessons I learned from you are an integral part of who I am as a dancer today, and I hope I've made you proud with my presentation of some of the pieces that you taught me. Most of all, I need to thank my Guru Dipta Auntie. Datta auntie, there has not been a time in my life where I didn't know you. You might have started as my favorite auntie because you let me sit on your lap and watch Divya and Diksha dance. But if you weren't already, you became so much more than that in the following 10 years. You've been the most amazing dance teacher I could have ever asked for, but you've also introduced me to dance classmates who were some of my best friends, given me hugs when I really, really needed them, spent an hour and a half of class helping me work through anxiety, and most importantly, you've made me smile and laugh every time I've ever seen you, and more times than either of us could count. Some of my other favorites are that time you let me and Diksha live in your house for a couple of weeks, and those times that you introduced me to old 80s Hindi movie songs and Raspberry Lemonade, both of which I highly recommend. I am endlessly grateful, all jokes aside, to have you in my life as a guru and a second mom, and I can't wait to spend years and years and many more years going to dance class every week. Thank you all for coming. I think that was the last of the thank yous. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Antonio, Sanjay Uncle, Shrimat Uncle, to come onto the stage and be felicitated.
Thank you for making it. Shrimat Uncle, where's Antonio? I think I'm missing one by one. Okay. She's not done? Oh.
And I would also like to invite Sarita auntie to give her a small token of our appreciation.
I retire now with you. Aww. As if we are letting you. Go to the center. Go to the center.